My name is Andrew Whipple.
I'm Alex Wade.
Hey.
Hi.
Look at that. But yeah, no, the premise is we just like talking about geeky shit.
So anyway, Star Wars.
What'd you think about the movie?
I really liked it.
Mhm.
It was a good first step.
Mhm.
Top 4 Star Wars movies for sure.
Okay. I loved it. I think for me it might be top 3. If I get myself into the trap of thinking, oh, what if they had done this instead, then I start to like it less and less.
Like everyone was always doubting, like, oh, this new Star Wars are gonna fuck it up like the prequels, and like,
Yeah.
I don't think you should ever go into any franchise like that. Like, you gotta always hope and have faith that they're gonna do a good job.
Okay,
Where to
but
start?
now, spoilers,
Yeah.
spoilers,
Yeah.
spoilers, spoilers. We're gonna spoil everything in the movie. This is good though, because like that whole philosophical treatise on not judging a book by before the movies come out, to mix a metaphor, that was good. We gave something to the people that don't want to be spoiled. Still
Yeah.
came away with.
For you thousands of viewers.
How do we even want to structure this?
Yeah,
Because it's a big movie with a lot of stuff that you can talk about.
Yeah.
Oh, let's get into that stealth reboot thing about it, because this is
Yes.
very like
Explain
there
this.
is a world where you could see this as a remake of A New Hope that happens to be in a universe where A New Hope canonically already existed, which is interesting. Unlike the JJ Star Trek where they actually rebooted it, and yes, there's weird multiverse shit, whatever, but like this is
That was like
a definitive reboot. This is A New Hope happened 30 years ago, and now we're gonna retell a version of A New Hope in an interesting way.
Yeah.
How did you feel about that? The fact that it was that so many aspects of it, not just big plot points, but even shots were reused from.
Really?
Yeah, you have like some of the shots in the trench run, some of the shots
on
on
the trench
Jakku.
run. Oh, like, okay, the trench run. So there's the trench run, which is just completely unnecessary.
Yeah.
Like, they literally just threw that in there explicitly to copy New Hope. Like, no other reason.
Yeah.
That was useless and pointless.
It's interesting because I don't know where I feel on the rebootiness.
Well,
But
with things like that though, it's like, well, that's too big to be an Easter egg. Like, that's,
Oh, yeah.
that's really obvious and just like a redone scene. But there were I really liked there were like small Easter eggs given throughout.
That was lovely.
If they had done that more instead of like copied scenes, that would have been fine.
Yeah. Part of what I feel about this movie is that this is there's an idea that like, okay, you want to have a band that sounds like the Beatles. You want to write music that sounds like the Beatles kind of music. The two ways that you can do it is you could either try and listen to the Beatles a lot and copy them, or you can try and listen to all the shit that the Beatles were listening to, like Chuck Berry and all that stuff. And then a lot of people think that if you do that second one, you'll actually sound closer to what they do than if you just try to copy them. The original Star Wars movie was inspired by Japanese samurai films and westerns and Flash Gordon and stuff like that. And you don't get the sense that this movie was inspired by those things. It more feels like this is a Star Wars movie inspired by growing up watching Star Wars.
Yeah.
And so you have homages and references and rip-offs of another Star Wars movie instead of these Japanese films.
I think
most people
that's the
haven't seen.
biggest reason why I really liked it, but like why it wasn't quite good enough. Why I would give it personally, I'd give it like an 8 out of 10 because it was too much like A New Hope, because that's what they tried to do, like very obviously. I saw it with my brother and he was talking about how if they try to make the entire trilogy exactly like the original trilogy, but they try and do some of the lines the same way.
Interesting.
So like the line, "No, I am your father."
Yeah.
Like, they're going to try doing that line again, but also getting the same amount of surprise.
Yeah.
And it will also be to Luke. The theory is that Rey is actually going to be like a reincarnation of Anakin somehow.
That's bonkers. Okay.
So then Rey is going to say to Luke, "I am your father."
Wow, I
Completely insane. It's not going to happen.
certainly not.
But that's
Though I do want to talk about Rey's parents' theories, because the Star Wars movies have always been about lineage and about fathers and sons and parentage and things like that, and the Force flowing through families. And everything seems to be pointing to Rey is the child of someone we know and someone important.
I think she's the child of possibly Han and Leia, maybe.
Yeah.
I only really have one scene to go off this.
Yeah.
There was Kylo Ren. They lost the droid the first time on Jakku, and like they had gotten away in the Millennium Falcon, and he's like, "Oh, how did this droid get away, it's like he had help from FN blah 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 numbers
2187.
2187 and the girl
that is the detention cell that Leia is held in A New Hope in the Death Star is number 2187.
Oh wow, that's poetic.
Yeah,
that's wow. Easter eggs, see, that's cool.
Yeah, see that's how shit is fun. Or like when Finn is trying to find stuff to fix Chewie and pulls out the training droid that Luke used, and then just like tosses it away, and it's literally there for a second, and you catch it, and you're like, ah, yeah. But if you're someone who's never seen the other Star Wars movies and watched that, you'd be like, he just pulled out a weird ball thing.
But anyway. There was he force chokes like the admiral or whatever who tells him this when he also mentions that there's a girl. Why would he do that?
Exactly. That's been the thing that I've been wondering is that
this is obviously going to be a very, very carefully crafted movie. There's not going to be anything in it that like he just did it because he was angry or
Kylo has a reason to be
suspicious of a girl
and interested in this girl on Jakku.
Like
it seems to be pointing that she might be Luke's kid. It seems to sort of be the way that I feel like the movie is structured, which is kind of why I think I don't want that to be the case, because that feels like the obvious choice, and I personally am looking for little bits like that of Kylo cares about it, so maybe it's his sister, or the way that she fights is stabby instead of swingy, and the only other Jedi that stabs instead of swings is Chancellor Palpatine. Or like she has a British accent. Obi-Wan has a British accent, and Obi-Wan's the one that talks to her when she grabs the lightsaber. Other fun bit of trivia: when she grabs the lightsaber and there's that vision thing, you can hear both. Ewan McGregor says some lines to her, but so does Alec Guinness. Alec Guinness is the one that says Rey, and then Ewan McGregor finishes off with like, you're taking your first steps or something like that. But they cut the syllable Rey from Alec Guinness saying afraid in A New Hope. And they use that to have him, old and now dead Obi-Wan, say that.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I'm very curious about that scene.
So you see Luke reaching out to R2-D2 with metal hand is one of the things that happens.
Well, no, what happens first is
that's not the first one.
She's in the hallway of like some.
I've heard some people online saying that looks like the Cloud City hallway a little bit. I don't know how true that is.
And she falls away to like the desert where the fire, where Luke claws on the hand of R2-D2, which like okay, sure. Mm-hmm. And then
is it Knights of Ren after that?
I think so. I assume those are Knights of Ren.
Is it? Yeah, I think so. Is it? Because Kylo Ren is clearly one of them, and there's other people behind. That's my assumption. And then it's either that, and then she's being left on Jakku as a child, or vice versa.
I think it's Jakku is second.
Is there anything else? So we have hallway, Luke reaching R2-D2 in weird stormy desert thing.
That scene right there is going to be crucial.
Yeah.
Like, we won't understand that till like the third movie.
Mm-hmm. There's Knights of Ren, but I feel like there might have also I think there's also a flash forward to the fight scene in the snow.
Yes, there
is. There too. Okay.
Yeah.
So which canonically shows that like we have her past is there, and also something that happens in her future. So who knows where these other middle bits are of Luke and R2, or the hallway, or Knights of Ren, stuff like that. Is that stuff that was before or stuff that was after?
Yeah.
Who knows? Because we have a flash forward and a flashback.
I'm curious. I'm really curious how to kind of skip around how Mark Hamill is how Luke is gonna play into this all.
Yeah.
Harrison Ford did it because like it's like okay, this is the one movie.
And how great is it that
it was fantastic.
How great is it that we got a movie that's a Han Solo? He is the lead, arguably, of the movie, like him and Rey and Finn. And he does such a good job and is so Han Solo-y. Like he does Han Solo-isms that he did 30 years ago.
It wasn't too much of a like I don't know. I didn't feel like it relied on just old nostalgia or anything. Like he did a good job.
Yeah,
it was good.
Brought interesting new depth to the character, and played him as a character, which was really cool.
That was fantastic. It was interesting because like he was like almost the mentor character.
Oh,
he was a reluctant mentor character.
He totally filled. The interesting thing about this movie is that it's kind of a reboot of A New Hope in a lot of ways, but no one quite fits the right. Like none of the new three trio quite. Yeah. You can't quite match them to. Yeah. Is okay. Poe is great pilot, and so he should be the Han Solo, but he's also is the. I don't princess that gets rescued.
Poe is going to be one of the three. Is going to be like a continued character.
Okay.
I don't think he's going to be like Mainly because I think that because I read some article that said he was going to die.
He was originally going to die at that moment. But the fact that they brought him back, and I think
he'll be there, but I think he'll be more like a side character, like comparable to Lando.
Okay.
As opposed to like
part of me, I like trios a lot, so I really hope that they're a trio. And part of me kind of hopes that with the insane positive fan reaction that there is towards Poe, that
so like a reverse Jar Jar Binks.
That they might. Because I honestly I don't know why they chose to make him not die, because there's no real narrative reason that has to happen. And part of me honestly believes maybe it's just that they saw Oscar Isaac killing it and were like,
yeah,
let's not kill him. Let's not kill him.
There was no reason to kill him, but I definitely felt like they intended to kill him.
Yes,
like he went in the crash. The thing went down to the sand and it exploded.
That felt
like a very like he's dead.
If you don't see the body, you can never be sure. People pop up all the time.
Yeah, but there's still like...
Although that's more of an expanded universe thing of like Boba Fett escaped the Sarlacc. Apparently 3 different times in the course of the whole expanded universe before they nuked it. Which is like, I understand so many people being upset that Disney was like, hey, that expanded universe that you all loved, we're not going to say it's not canon anymore. And now it's like Star Wars Legends is what they call it, of like, this is sort of an Elseworlds, that all those stories, you can still buy them, they still exist, but they don't exist in the main Star Wars story anymore. Mostly so that Disney can be like, we can write our own that conflicts with it. It's shit like that when I find that, wait, you're telling me Boba Fett got eaten and escaped from the Sarlacc 3 different times?
Like, why didn't they figure it out after the first time?
These kids gotta... Although, speaking of not figuring it out the first time, hey, new Death Star.
Yeah,
Death Star
like,
3.0.
Oh,
third time is not the charm, as it turns out. Though they did apparently demolish an entire government, so that's...
Yeah,
they got some shots
they
out.
worked.
They got some shots out, actually.
It worked pretty damn well.
Yeah, certainly the most effective of the 3 Death Stars that we've gotten so far.
I really hope there's not another...
Yeah.
They're gonna make another one, I feel.
I don't know. I mean, if they are full rebooting, like retelling the whole trilogy, then they have to, but I hope they don't.
That's too much. Like,
I hope they don't. Yeah, that is one of those many examples in this movie that if I think about what's a better thing you could have done, there's a lot of better things you could have done than Star Killer Base.
Than another, yeah, like...
It's cool, but, like, you could have done some...
Bigger's not always better.
Yes. That being said, does it work? Yeah, absolutely. Does it work in the film? Into it. But you could have made a better choice, JJ. My biggest problem with the movie, to be totally honest, is it feels so much like Act 1 of a larger story.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel the way that, like, the first Star Wars movie, you could have ended the whole series with A New Hope, and it would have been an awesome, great standalone movie. Yeah. You couldn't do that with this. If this was the only movie, then there's so much of a sense of, like, partially because it ends on a legitimate cliffhanger in the way that Episode 4 doesn't. With the god-awful fucking helicopter shot. I hate the helicopter shot. It could have just ended... Honestly, I would rather have had it ended...
She should have just, like, gotten the lightsaber, held it out. Not even panned to him again. Just, like, have the lightsaber, and then, like...
The place where I honestly wanted it to cut, especially rewatching it, was... I want it to cut as soon as the Millennium Falcon goes into hyperspace. And then... Millennium Falcon leaves the planet, goes to hyperspace. We don't actually get to see Luke yet. And then, if I was rewriting this trilogy, I would have movie 2 be the search for Luke, rather than we find him. And so, like, meaning you have to... Sure, we got the map, but maybe he's moved. Yeah, or maybe there's other stuff like that. That's what I would do. That I hate. Would have been cool. Of Chewie and Rey.
What the hell was with the R2-D2? Like, he just had the map in his back pocket. Turns out
that I'm okay with because it's R2-D2. Of course, R2-D2 secretly has Luke's map because
they also mentioned it. Like C-3PO when BB-8 bumped into him, into R2-D2, he was like, "Oh, I think it's highly unlikely that R2-D2 has his map in his storage," which he fucking did. So like, also I gotta say, C-3PO, he's annoying.
So that was the thing rewatching the original trilogy, is that there is the honest-to-God only difference between C-3PO and Jar Jar is that he has a British accent instead of the Jar Jar nonsense. And he's a lower energy, because he's a guy in a metal suit that just can't move very much, and can't move very fast. And when you take the C-3PO character and then make him literally bounce off the walls all the time, then it gets unbearable and crazy. But at least C-3PO is, like, annoying but restrained annoying. Also, because the C-3PO R2D2 pair is just such a good
Yeah,
comic relief pair.
BB-8 though is...
Oh, I love BB-8
BB-8's
so
fantastic.
much. I love the little ball. I love the
He's
little
just... Also, he... Is it he, it?
I've been saying either he or it,
but like
I've done both he and it.
I think it's a good enough of a side character.
Yes, because it's a little kitty cat that's a robot.
Yeah,
but an affectionate kitty cat.
Literally the first time, so when it was talking to Rey, the first time they met, it like purred.
I know.
literally.
It does it a couple more times during the movie, and there's the nostalgia part of me that immediately like welled up when you heard the R2D2 beeps, because that sound is so ingrained. Yeah. But the BB-8 droid voice is way more expressive and acty than the R2D2 beeps.
Also, just logistically, I feel like BB-8 just makes more sense for like a fighter wing pilot,
and he's way better suited for a sand planet where it's just like,
cool, for every environment, like being a ball. Like,
except for those stairs, he had a bit of a moment on.
BB-8 going down the stairs, like one stair, look down, go it up, and just,
Yeah, I loved that scene, but that was also one of those. I'm paying more attention to BB-8 in the background than I am to Rey having an emotional moment right now, which is probably not ideal, but whatever. I'm okay with that.
So BB-8, is it? Do they actually have a?
So that's a fun story.
robot?
There's a company called Sphero that is a little startup that makes these little self-propelling balls, and they joined a couple years ago. Disney had a startup accelerator, and they're part of the like first class of that. And people at Lucasfilm then saw what they were doing and reached out to them and said, "Hey, we're actually thinking about a character that seems like it could be made real using your thing." So then they worked with them, and so the actual BB-8 in the movie is a physical thing that exists that they made for the movie. And if you watch the red carpet stuff, like there's an actual BB-8 that rolls around and.
How much of
it? They also made a little toy. They also made a little toy version that you can buy.
Yeah, which that shit is expensive, like $150.
I know, but I want one so bad.
Me too. But some of the things, like logistically, how do you? So like for the scene, like it grabs onto like the cloak that's covering R2D2, and then the way how the ball moves. In such a perfect way.
I'm sure that they also like in the original trilogy where they had 12 different R2D2s that each had a different task or something like that. They probably have multiple BB-8s they have the BB-8 for the cloak pulling scene. They have the BB-8 for the shocking that has that little arm that sticks out and stuff like that.
Surprise, we don't actually have a real BB-8 in the world yet.
Not yet. Watching the Star Wars movies makes me think about, that's the way that modern robotics companies should be going if they want to get like market share immediately and stuff like that, especially ones that are dealing with robotic companions or robots around the home, is to not go for human-like and go for
humanoid.
Go for Pixar. Go for a Pixar type robot like BB-8 is, or R2D2 even, and make it really cute, make it really expressive, but expressive through human-like things that aren't clearly human.
We're nowhere near like we had the link here to the one about the Uncanny Valley and robots that we probably had.
Where we talked about how both of us are like, if the robots kill us all, fine. We're down.
That'd be cool. Yeah. I'd embrace my robot overlords.
Sure. I love Rey so much.
She's fantastic.
I love Rey.
Kylo Ren is a perfect, because it's like he's a 16-year-old like emo kid.
This idea of Rey being a quote-unquote Mary Sue character. No, he's an interesting, whiny, annoying asshole.
Part of me is like, fuck you, George Lucas. Most of me is like that.